What's up, guys? Intelitech Studios here, and welcome to episode 34 of Vacuum Saved. This is the Fantom edition of Vacuum Saved, as you can see by the fact that we have 5 Fantoms in front of us. These are vacuums that I have featured on the channel in the past, but not in a Vacuum Saved. All of these Fantoms I acquired online, specifically on eBay, and we're also going to be showing off 3 other machines that I also acquired online. So this could also double as the online edition of Vacuum Saved. So we have a Bissell Power Force 3522-1, a old school Hoover Elite Rewind, a Dirt Devil Impulse, a Kenmore Dry Tech, also known as the Iona Nova Dry, and the Fantom Capture. We have 2 Euro Pro Fantom Twisters, and we have 2 Iona Fantom Furies. So, we have plenty of Fantom-y goodness, so if you enjoy Fantoms, hopefully this is the Vacuum Saved video for you. So, the question is, where do we start? I think we might as well start off with the classic Fantom Furies. So both of these Furies I acquired basically very early this year, so almost a year ago at this point. And these particular machines I got very close to each other. So it started off with this one, which my fiance actually bought me because he was going to buy me this one, and it had gone down and wasn't relisted at the time, basically as a Christmas gift, because I had been wanting another Fantom Fury. So I was going to get this one. It had been, the auction had ended, or I should say no, yeah, that's right. So the auction had ended, nobody bid on it, so it was down, and it hadn't yet been relisted. So since it wasn't relisted, I assumed that the seller just gave up on selling it, and I bought this one. Right after this one shows up, this one gets relisted again. So whenever I get my next paycheck following that excursion, I buy this one, since this is the one that I wanted to begin with, and I ended up with both. I didn't want to return either of them because I actually wanted to keep both of them for separate reasons. This one is in much better condition, so I wanted to keep it, but I didn't want to have it be the only one that I keep because it has an issue with the gasket right there. This one does not have that gasket issue, but it's in a lot worse condition, and it was also a lot cheaper. And as you can see, based on the cord, the lower cord hook is broken. But other than that, they both run good. This one in particular, I stripped all the way down to the motor because it was sounding a little bit funky, but whenever I want to use a Fantom to clean my house, this is the one that I pick, since it is the one that's in the worst condition. This one was simply sold as needing a belt, which was true because it had the wrong belt on it. So I bought it, put a belt on it, and it's been working fine, although the brush roll is a little bit suspect, unfortunately. And obviously it's missing the attachments, and I need to find a hose without the broken hook. But I haven't really bothered to do that so much. So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and plug this in. And I'm just going to unplug this lamp right here, which is very nicely plugged in with an extension cord. So we're just going to plug this in right here. I did just try to work on this machine yesterday on the brush roll, because the brush roll, unfortunately, is making a buzzing noise. I'm not sure what to do about that. I can't find a replacement brush roll, so I'm not sure how I'm going to address that problem. But still, we are going to run this. And I also just recently replaced the headlight bulb in it because that was burned out. See, this is model number SFY7403, serial number 129666, and the serial date is 0008, so the 8th week of 2000. So this machine is 21, almost 22 years old. Oh, I just stepped on the cord. And if we pull this up and look at the HEPA filter, HEPA filter is a bit dirty, but still has some life left in it. You can see all this is clean. Well, it's probably a little bit dusty now, because I've used it a couple times. Nope, it's still clean. So, I completely cleaned out the inside of this thing. Unfortunately, the motor on this one's in really bad shape. The motor is actually arcing. It's throwing sparks on the inside. So this machine stretches out belts pretty easily because the motor spindle gets hot, and it pumps out a lot of heat. So it's nice to use in the wintertime, other than the fact that it might catch fire. But other than that, it's pretty okay. So if you look at the bottom here, you can see there's some scratches on it. Here's the brush roll. So it still has the same belt on it that I installed a year ago, so the belt is a little bit stretched, as you can kind of see. The brush roll does spin, but it makes a bit of a noise whenever it's running. Probably because the end caps are a little bit funky. Even has the cord clip, which is nice. So with that said, we're going to go ahead. First off, I need to put this on the high setting for my carpet. I'm going to put this in here and give this a run. So the good news is when I'm running this on a higher pile carpet, like in my living room, it actually manages to not make too much brush roll noise, thankfully. So it is still usable. But the interesting thing is that this thing has a worn out brush roll. It needs a new brush roll. And this thing manages to pull up all that, even after I vacuumed just earlier today, with the Dyson DC-28, and then follow that up with my Sanitaire SO4110A. So this thing still managed to pull up a good amount of stuff, like a little hairball in there. And yeah, so I still really like these machines. And another reason why I decided to keep it. Granted, it sucks that I can't use it all that often because, yeah, that brush roll is not going to last too much longer. But yeah, so now that we got that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Now this one's a bit dusty from sitting just kind of untouched for a while. You can see how dusty that is, so I do need to dust it off. And I'm actually not going to run this on the carpet, unfortunately, because as you can see, I cleaned out the bin pretty nicely. I mean, it's not perfect, but I cleaned it out a good amount, and I don't want to get it all dirty again and have to clean it up. So, but this one, oh, I just noticed this power button's got like texture on it, and this one doesn't. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so, oh, because this one's an older one, yeah. So this one actually did come with the attachments and a little pamphlet presumably from a Fantom service center from back in the day. So this one I'm just going to test the suction on and see how well the motor runs. And I believe this one has a good light too. We're about to find out. Yeah, this one's a lot better. Oh, okay. One thing, when you set these Fantoms down, you have to be careful these floor tools don't catch. But you can see this one is a lot quieter, and it runs a lot smoother. You can see the brush roll on this one's in even better condition, although the belt is equally worn out. The bristles feel a bit softer, though, for some reason. But yeah, all this is in good condition. Nothing's rusted or anything like that. So this one I haven't taken apart or anything like that, because it didn't really seem like it needed it. Although I do need to wipe off the outside of it, because that's gross. But looking at the HEPA filter on this one, looks like it's got the same type of HEPA filter, genuine Fantom filter. Oh, I forgot to mention the date on the other filter is 9945. This one's 9853. This one has a little bit of dust in it. It's actually, this one probably could use a clean out, but it's not urgent, because I'm hardly going to be using this one anyways. As you can see, this one's, even though it is dusty, so it's hard to see, it's in much better condition. There's a lot less scratches and scuffs on it. It looks like this one was much more nicely taken care of. This is an older one that actually has the reset button. And this one also has a fluff trap up here, which I believe the other one has the same thing. But yeah, so this one is an FY5 1CSOO, serial number 112359, and the date is the 29th week of 1998. So yeah, both these are credited as Fantom Technologies. And yeah, so this one's a bit dusty. So I'm going to have to dust this off real quick. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Next, we got this Fantom Twister. This one I actually acquired locally for $40, unlike the previous two you saw that I got on eBay. And then the following two Fantoms that I got on eBay. This is the only Fantom that I've got locally, at least out of the ones in this video. So, yeah. See, broken upper cord hook, broken tabs on the filter door that I had to tape on. Thing is turning yellow and brittle, and has the crevice tool from a Dirt Devil, and is missing upholstery tool and all that. But yeah, paid $40 for this piece of crap, and that was too much. But oh well, that's what happens when you get scammed. But yeah, so this is, well, it running. It's also missing the filter. It's missing it has the post motor filter. You can see it has the HEPA filter, but it's missing the filter that goes inside this little yellow twisty portion. And the other one's missing that too, unfortunately. So that's why I ran these ones after the other Furies. So that way these don't pick up much, so I don't have to worry about crap going through the motor. So, ironic, isn't it? Anyways, let's give this a run. Well, it's still got a little ball of fluff in there and some fine dust. That's not too bad. The other thing that sucks is that because it's missing the filter, every time you try to empty this thing, this yellow piece just drops out because the filter is the only thing that holds it in place. So that's great. And I'm trying to remember if there was anything else wrong with it. I don't know. Oh yeah, this thing's broken down here too. So it's supposed to be an anchor so you can hold this down here like when you're using the hose so it doesn't tip over. And that's broken too. Hose is kinked right there. That's not too big of a deal. It's not split or anything. So yeah, you can see where this part's turning green. And yeah, so not very good. On the bright side, even though this is heavier than the other two Fantoms, this thing is it has an automatic height adjustment, as you can see. This thing is very easy to push, and it still manages to clean pretty good. It still manages to agitate pretty good, but it's very, very easy to push. It's very nice to use. It reminds me a lot of a Dyson, it reminds me more of a Dyson than the earlier Fantoms, which is odd because the earlier Fantoms were actually more so directly based on Dyson's platform. So it's a bit funky, but this thing does work. But I've had a lot of requests from like a couple people, like one or two people asking me to run these twisters like 24/7, and I don't because these filters are not in the machine. I tried to buy one on eBay and it was the wrong filter, and I tried to do a return and the seller threw an absolute hissy fit and was like, "You never sent me the pictures of it." And I'm like, "What pictures am I supposed to send you? What are you talking about?" And because apparently they asked me to send them pictures of how it wasn't fitting. I'm like, it's the wrong size. Like, I don't know. But, so, so then I responded to them and I'm like, "Okay, well, what pictures are you wanting me to send?" And they never responded. So, and they just denied my return. And then eBay just stepped in and denied my return request. So I have a random filter now. But yeah, and I don't have, apparently the one I bought is Sanyo branded because these machines were originally sold under the Sanyo name. These are made by Sanyo. And my actual Sanyo canister I still can't find a proper filter for as well, so that's annoying. Seems like Sanyo stuff is hard to find any sort of parts for, even replenishments. So that sucks, because I really do like my Sanyo canister, and I can't use it. I'm going to have to get another bench canister. But yeah, this one also has a legit brush roll shut-off, which actually works. This is one of the better brush roll shut-off mechanisms. Even though this thing is very old, it works so much better than the mechanisms on like modern Hoovers and Eurekas. This thing actually does the job at, shutting off the brush roll without wearing out the belt too terribly much. Although maybe it is just as bad if I were to actually daily this machine for a bit, which I can't do because filter. And yeah, it has really good suction though. Motor sounds, honestly, other than the wind down, the motor sounds like a Dyson. Even smells like a Dyson. But yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same motor that a lot of Dysons have, and the only difference in this wind down sound is just the way the tubing is set up on this machine. But yeah, so that's the first Fantom Twister. I believe this is the older one. I don't remember where the serial date info is on this. Okay, it's down here. So this one is Fantom FM741H. So yeah, 12 amps, 60 hertz, household use only. The other one that I have is commercially rated, made in China. Oh, this says 18-03. So does that mean 2003? The 18th week of 2003? I assume that's what that means. How did I just now notice that? I never noticed that before. Okay, so it's 2003. So I have one from so I have a Fantom from 98, one from 2000, one from 2003, and then I believe the other one's from 2009. So these Fantoms were actually around for a lot longer than I initially thought. It just seems like nobody bought them, unlike the old school Fantoms, which for a while were all over the place. But of course, by now, you don't see them anymore because a lot of them got thrown out because no parts. Anyways, on to the next one. Alright, now we have the much more funky and, in my opinion, much more interesting of the two twisters. This one is a lot newer. This one's actually a remanufactured one. that was actually remanufactured around the same time that Infinity was on the market for a couple years, and Shark was, well, technically they were already on the market for quite a few years, but where the Navigator was actually starting to pick up steam. As you can see, the date on this one is 2009. Yeah, it's a remanufactured one, and this is a very low serial number. Serial number 000021. Model FC285HW-R, remanufactured. And it's pretty clear these are remanufactured with really junky plastic because, God, even though this thing is so much heavier than the other Twister, it's built so much worse. I don't know how you could consider this thing commercially rated. I mean, it's honestly a joke. But everything on this one is in good shape. It's just every time that I would undo one they've used impact screws throughout the entire body. It's the stupidest thing ever. If you go to undo any of these screws, you pull a bunch of plastic out and you come very close to stripping out the screw holes because they're literally just screwed straight into plastic. They just it's the silliest thing ever. And I'm saying it would be silly were not for the fact that these at one point were, $200-300. But, yeah. It's even got a little dust cup full LED. I've never tested that out. It's got a, view position height adjustment that looks like it has less positions than it actually does. It's got these Wall-E looking headlights. The headlights look like a depressed robot, doesn't it? It's like this is just it going, and it's got the very sad, droopy-looking eyeballs. I will say the black version of this looks really cool. The black with the purple. This white one's kind of funky looking, but I still like it. And of course, see, this one also is missing the inside filter, but they one-upped themselves from the other one. Oh no, that filter's missing too. There's no filters in this. What? This is a joke, but I don't know. And this button, every time I try to remove the bin, this button gets stuck. This dust cup release button. So literally, you push it in, and see, the bin comes out now, which it was not doing it before. So literally, the only thing that filters is this screen, and then this wimpy little piece of fabric right here is the only thing keeping crap out of the motor. But at least it's doing a good job at that. So, and of course, same story. If you press this and undo this middle piece just pops right out. And you've got this button up here that does something. I believe this is the release button for when the filter is actually in there to undo it. And this is the twister. The idea is you're supposed to twist this and it's supposed to clean the filter off or whatever, some stupid crap like that. And of course, this button is always jammed, so you got to kind of fiddle with these here until that pops out. So that works. And then up here we got a turbo brush, which is completely yellowed and falling apart. It's built like garbage. Because the actual brush in it is completely falling apart. It's not even really attached to anything in there. And the bristles are very soft. And for those wondering, no, it is too late to open a claim. I took way too long to respond, and as a result, I wasted almost $200 on this thing, including shipping. I'm very upset about that. But at least I have the thing. Biggest waste of money of 2020. And of course, the seller blamed it on, oh, well, my employees, or it was something like that. Like, oh, my employees screwed it up. You can see this one at least has this hook down here. It makes a little bit more sense than it being all the way down here. So that's at least designed somewhat effectively. But that doesn't feel sturdy at all. But it has both of its cord clips. The one thing that feels commercial about this is it is a a nice heavy gauge 3-prong cable. But what good does that do if the rest of the machine is built like crap? So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and give it a run. And it has a variable speed too, which is really cool. So yeah. So it's on the minimum. So yeah, this machine really is cool. But you know, yeah, well the build quality is not great. When you're actually using the machine, it's really nice. Like it really is. Like I don't know, it's something that's really nice to use, but obviously it's doesn't really stand the test of time. Ah! I was trying to push this hose back in and I hit the power button. Okay. And the fact that it has like a variable suction control, very nice bright LED headlights, like a decent quality brush roll shutoff, a proper like bag check sensor, or I guess not bag check sensor, but suction control indicator, like that's really cool. And like some of those features, it's like the the bag check light and the suction indicator. The only other vacuum I can think of that has something like that is the Sebo Felix, and that's like way more than double the price of this machine new. This is on sale. This is actually not even on sale. Like on the later half of this machine's price, this was half the price of a Dart, which doesn't even have those features. So it's really cool. And I don't know why variable suction isn't a thing on more machines. I assume because it's probably hard on the motor, trying to get the motor to run at different speeds when it's not used to that. That's my guess. But the motor does run very well in this machine. I would love to get filters for it to be able to use it on occasion because I do really, really enjoy this machine, even though it is objectively not that great. It's very bulky, it's very heavy, but it doesn't feel heavy duty in a sense, but it feels, well, it doesn't feel sturdy either, but you know what I'm trying to say. Is it better than, if you want a bagless industrial machine, is it better than a clear track? Hell no. Not even close. But it's still interesting. And who knows? Maybe if I had a cleaning company back in 2008, maybe I would have bought one. Probably not. Who knows? Maybe. But I didn't even know these were a thing. Like, I didn't even know the Euro Pro Phantoms were a thing back then. Nobody ever told me. Back when I got my first Phantom Thunder, I could have got one of these brand new. But no one ever informed me that these existed. I never saw any videos of them on YouTube or any mention of them in forums, nothing like that. And that's of either of the Twisters. So it's very odd because they were on the market for almost as long as the Iona Phantoms were. So, very weird. But certainly an interesting piece of Shark's history for sure. And Phantom history and Dyson history for that matter. But yeah, enough gushing about this thing. Let's move on. Alright, so taking a brief break from the Phantom content, we have a vacuum that I actually forgot to do a video on whenever I first got it. Or I should say, a vacuum save video. I did do a video whenever I acquired this. I got this from Marco, also known as Vacuums and Carpet Cleaner Guy, in a trade for a Dirt Devil Broom Vac, which that machine I had previously featured in a vacuum saved. So, this particular... Oh, Boots. Hi, Boots. Bye, Boots. Anyways, so... This machine is one where I pretty much got it, stuck it into the back of one of the rows of vacuums that I have, and kind of forgot about it, even though I did want to use it a little bit more. But since I got a request to show off this vacuum, I figured now is the time, if any, to include this in a vacuum saved and not put it off for so much longer. And that is why. Now, there are some other vacuums that I acquired from Marco, which will be in the next video, because I don't believe I showed those in a vacuum save either. It's a set of 3 vacuums, as well as a couple others. So this video is mostly Phantoms and a few other little odds and ends, and the next video will be more focused on, or the next vacuum save video specifically will be on a lot more machines that I got online and in trades and whatnot with other collectors, as well as with a few Dysons. So this particular machine, it's the old school Elite Rewind. And I don't know the date of manufacture on this one. This one I haven't cleaned up or anything. I haven't touched it since I got it. It does need a clean. It does smell really bad from it sitting for a while. You can see right there, this one is made by LG. And there is, like, I believe there is an LG branded version of this machine that's in like a dark purple color, but which I didn't even know existed. I only knew that this existed in a red and yellow, then a red and gray, and then a teal, like a turquoise and purple color. I believe that was it, but I believe there's 1 or 2 other colorways for this machine, various brandings. But the turquoise one is the one that I want to get, or the purple, one of those colors. Red is not one of my favorite colors on vacuums. But, yeah. So you can see right there, U5507900. I don't see any date information on here. Unless perhaps it's somewhere in here. Perhaps 07060 says the 60th day of 2007. It's entirely possible, but I'm not sure. Also, this is a bit funky. This just holds a crevice tool. There's no extension wand that this slides into, like a lot of modern Hoovers would have. Has a combination tool with tape on it for some reason, and a turbo brush. So it does have all the attachments. They're a bit dirty. For some reason, this one has like this weird, like red paint on it, like red sanded paint on it. I know it's not supposed to have that, so I don't know why that is. I'll probably try scrubbing that off one of these days. And it has a little filter in there, filter over here, belt underneath, headlight bulb right there. A lot of people say, this sounds like a Bissell. And yeah, this one is going to sound like a Bissell because it has a motor that is relatively similar to Bissell. Because a lot of Bissell motors at the time of this machine were made by Samsung, at least on the edge, were made by Samsung. And obviously LG is competing with Samsung. They make a lot of similar products, including, around this time, similar sounding motors. So this is probably one of the only machines where all the Bissell collectors can be like, it sounds like a Bissell, and it actually kind of sounds like a Bissell. So admittedly, this one does kind of sound like a Bissell, and you'll see that when I run it. And since it is a little bit stanky, we're going to vacuum up some of these scent beads. So isn't that lovely? not quite like a Bissell, but I can see the resemblance. Squeaky wheels. Wheels are squeaky. Not a lot of fine dust. So, truth be told, oh god, it's got this crap here too. I'm gonna have to wash that off. Actually, after I do this video, I might toss all these parts in the bath. No big deal. Anyways, so, honestly, a lot of people like these, and I do like it. First off, a lot of people say this thing is ugly. I actually don't think it's that ugly. It's not bad. I mean, it does look like it's wearing earmuffs, yes, but they're cute. They're cute looking earmuffs, so I don't really care. But that's not the problem that I have with it. The problem that I have with it is the ineffective cyclone, or lack thereof. And I actually prefer the newer, not the newest, but the newer Elite Rewind Cyclonic, the one that's like based off the T series, but not the actual T series. I did a review of it a while ago. I own 2 of them currently, and I previously owned like 3 or 4 over the years. But that version, the one that directly replaced this, although I guess there was a few year gap in between, is better than this in my opinion. Even though the cord rewind doesn't work as well because it doesn't work as well mounted horizontally as it does vertically. The hose is just as usable. The Cyclone is an actual Cyclone. It works a lot better, does a lot better at resisting dust pass through and all that sort of stuff. Still has a HEPA filter. Still cleans just as well, has better filtration overall, and it's just a better machine. But I get why people like these. I do like it. It is certainly a decent machine for carpet cleaning. For above, for hose and floors and all that, but what do you expect? This isn't the review of it. This is just, I haven't ran this thing in a while, and this is the first time I've ran it on my new carpet, and thankfully the experience running it on my carpet is perfect. So this is not one of those machines that's horribly hard to push. Perhaps it having a metric ass load of actual adjustments certainly helps in that regard. And yeah, so that's the Hoover Elite Rewind. Oh, by the way, if I just cursed, and if your kid was watching this and I just cursed, I apologize. But hey, they can say ass in G-rated movies, so I should be off the hook, right? Anyways, so this thing, pretty good. Not much to complain about here. One of these days I will strip it down and completely clean it out so it's super nice and perfect. But in the meantime, it works good. Nothing to complain about. I'm not really regretting the trade with the broom vac because I didn't really like the broom vac all that much. I honestly didn't. There was a brief time where I was kind of like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. And then after I used the thing again, I'm like, okay, I understand why I did that, because I prefer full size uprights anyways. And you know, the broom vac is cool and all, and I would like to have another one. So, it's the kind of thing where it's like if I hadn't done the trade, I'd probably be happy with it. But if I had done obviously in the real world, I did do the trade, and I'm still happy with it either way. So, because I like both of the machines. So, by all means, pretty solid. Anyway, so the McDonald's colored vac goes back here, and we grab something else. Do we grab Bissell, Dirt Devil, or the Fantom, the Kenmore? Well, I know a lot of people like the Bissell, so we'll do the Dirt Devil. Okay. Alright, this is the Dirt Devil Impulse. I got this one from the Vacuum Observatory. If I remember correctly, it was a while ago. I didn't use this at all in the old house since I got it, because this thing is deathly loud. But in my new house, with the opened office and living room area where there's a lot more open space for the sound to travel, it's not nearly as ear-piercing as it used to be. But this thing probably does need a new fan. It certainly needs a new bag. This is the wrong bag in here, but I'm too lazy to put the right bag in it, so it's going to spew dust all over the place, and my breathing is going to be horrible. That's okay. I don't care. So we're just going to undo this. Honestly, I'm considering selling this machine because I don't use it all that often. I prefer the Elites, so I'm not saying for sure I'm going to do it, but if you're interested, I might let it go for a good price. I don't know how much these things are worth. It's in great shape. It's just missing the bumper like these always are, but it doesn't affect its ability to work. It's just, some kind of cosmetic skirmish. But yeah, so now we're going to plug it in. See if this thing, I don't remember if I had this on or not. But that could have been dangerous if I was hugging this plug and it was on. But yeah, so warning, headphone warning. I'm probably going to get a noise complaint from the entire neighborhood for running this. But oh well. 3, I warned you. Well, first off, let me make sure that bag's in all the way. Probably not. It's not going to be. Oh my god, that's not how that goes on. There we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So I'm not going to bother running the tools on this. It's an early 90s direct air vacuum. The tools are going to be dog crap and have very little suction or airflow. But here's this. So from 1995, J95A, that means 1995. 7 amp motor. Kind of loud, kind of buzzy, not pleasant to use, but it is nice and lightweight. This is basically just the Featherlight before they called it the Featherlight. So, if you like direct air Featherlights, this is cool. And it grooms the carpet very well. It does clean very well, leaves nice groom lines in typical direct air fashion. I'm not sure, honestly. I almost wonder if this cleans better than an Elite, but I don't know. That sounds wrong to me whenever I say that out loud. So I'm not going to speak much on that unless I actually use them side by side. I do have obviously several Elites I can compare it with. But yeah, and the Bravos as well. One of these days I'll do a video comparing this, an Elite, and a Bravo. and see which one's better. And probably the Elite. But anyways, so this thing, certainly nifty. And it has the crevice tool and the extension wand, just missing the brush. The combo, whatchamacallit, attachment, which I need to get a couple of those. But yeah, it works. Filtration's horrible. But you got a nice wooden brush roll here. Does a good job. Not much to complain about there. Belt still has tension, which is surprising for a Dirt Devil with no height adjustment. But yeah. Oh, this is in good shape. That's not too bad, considering the age. But yeah, so could be better, could be worse. Happy to have it in the collection. I do prefer my other Dirt Devil uprights. You know, I have the bypass version of this. It was called the Deluxe. I think mine's just the is the MVP? I don't know what it's called. It's at my dad's house. But that I do like more than this. Although I do like the cleaning width of this. I prefer the more square cleaning path to the really wide one. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's the Dirt Devil Impulse. Moving on to the next machine. Up next is the final product in this video with some association to the Fantom brand, the Kenmore Dry Tech. So this was built by Iona, the company that eventually became Fantom, and this was originally branded by Iona as the Nova Dry, later rebranded the third time as the Fantom Capture, because this is designed to distribute and vacuum up capture powder. As we can see, Sears, Roebuck and Company, USA, made in Canada, serial number 5. Patches, I'm doing a video. Now is not the time for you to randomly start screaming. Don't argue with me. Where even are you? Are you sitting in the window again? Patches, come here. Baby. Psst, 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 psst. Psst, psst, psst. Psst, psst. Oh, you're over here. Psst, psst, psst. Where are you? Psst, psst, psst. Patches. 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 Get out of the window. You're not going outside. It is a bad time for kitties to go outside. You could get hurt. I don't want you to go outside. No. No, I don't want you to. Okay, puppy? I know. But you can't go outside. I know, it sucks. But you can't. You could get hurt. You need to stay inside where it's safe. I know. Baby, come back. Get over here. Patches. Come here. Come here. Fine. I could have sworn that said somewhere on it that it was made in 1998. Or 1988, I mean. But I don't see that on this sticker. 3.5 amps. Serial number 54564. Where did it say that it was made in 88? I could have sworn that that's what it said. But I'm not seeing that anywhere on the sticker. Oh well. Oh, it was over here. I forgot this is how Iona used to date their machines. Manufactured on the 333rd day of 1989. Okay. Wasn't even on the sticker. That's why I got that messed up. So there's basically just a random capture extractor. And the way this works Get this. This is a dual cyclonic direct air machine. Yeah, I know, right? So this thing has a bypass, or not a bypass. This thing has a direct air system where it blows all the capture that it sucks up, or dirt or whatever else, because you can theoretically use this as a normal vacuum in addition to a capture machine. This thing just spits it into a direct air dual cyclonic canister. It's very bizarre and very fascinating. So I think I scored this one on eBay for like $50, I want to say. Plus probably like 20 or 30 bucks shipping, if that. Something like that. So this is cracked right here. But other than that, it works okay. It sounds like crap, but what do you expect from a machine this old? It's going to sound horrible, especially because it obviously needs new bearings, it needs a new fan. This thing's going to sound like death. But that being said, plug your ears. Yeah, so it has an actual pedal release that's on the side too. That's not confusing at all or irritating to push. So it has off, brush, and then dispense. And then you push it forward, and there's a vacuum option. We're going to try that. Did you see it just spit capture all over the place when I first turned it on? Ugh. And the other two options don't seem to do much. So that's brush, dispense, and then vacuum. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Yeah, can you tell why a direct air dual cyclonic machine was a bad idea? But it still works, surprisingly. It still picked up some stuff in the vacuum mode. There's a little bit of stuff in the bin. Not much, but you know, it's something. I mean, it works. Anyways, no, and the brush. You gotta see the brush roll on this. It's fascinating. This thing is not an agitator at all. Look at these really soft, thin bristles. It's really bizarre, but it's really interesting. But yeah, so that's that. And yeah. So, unplug that before it causes a house fire, and move on to something a little bit more typical. And finally, we have a vacuum acquired from the lovely Nate J here on YouTube. I got this at the same time that I got the wind tunnel that I got from that I featured in a previous Vacuum Save episode, but I forgot to feature this one. This is the Bissell Power Force. Yeah, another Power Force. This one is a 3522-1 from 2004. See that right there? So, it's your basic Power Force. Nothing too special about it. Check and change bag often for maximum cleaning performance. Uses style 7 bags. Kitty. Alright, and so yeah. HEPA bag in there. New set of filters. All the fixins. He put a new cord on it. One that's, I believe, a lot longer than the stock one. So that's nice. Has all the attachments, crevice tool, extension wand, combination tool. Works good. Boots. You trying to join Patches over there? No, now you're trying to look in the window. Patches, what are you doing? Are you loafing on the computer desk? Are you loafing? Are you loafing it? You loafing it? Who's a good loaf? I think you're a good loaf. Anyways, so this is power force filter. Ew, it's a bit dusty. The inside of this is all clean. So there's that. Yeah. Brand new brush roll in it, which I believe this one's isn't a stock brush roll. This one's a bit different. It's like a actual wooden brush roll. It's rather nice. Reminiscent of the Eurekas and Fantoms, which is definitely nice. So if I do decide to sell this vacuum, I'm keeping this brush roll probably. Especially because I have such an abundance of these stock Bissell ones. Has a good headlight bulb in it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, especially because the pedal is busted. So I need to fix that or sell it to someone who doesn't care. And it makes a bunch of weird squeaking noises for whatever reason. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it's so squeaky. I don't get it, but it is. And of course this is an older one, so it has it's not the twist and snap hose, it's the one that actually swivels, which I actually prefer this in some ways because it kind of swivels with you while you're trying to use it. But this is also a smaller diameter, so clogs tend to happen here very frequently. And since it's screwed in instead of a twist and snap, then it's much more of a pain to unclog because you have to undo the two screws. So, all that's good. Nothing much else to say about it. Just basic Bissell. These aren't as common as the bagless ones anymore for some reason. A lot of these, even though there's still a lot of these out there, I don't see them for sale very often. They're certainly for sale more often than any Power Glide, but compared to the bagless ones, it's a night and day difference. I'll turn that on that setting, just like I have my sanitaire on, and we'll go to town. Alright, so that's another episode of Vacuum Saved. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.